Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I have an email that I want to read here, a question that I get pretty regularly. I think it's a great question, and please do not feel silly if you've ever thought of this yourself. So I'm going to read it now. This comes from Mike, who says, "Hey Bruce, your channel has quickly become one of my favorites. Keep up the great work. As a fellow Hulk owner, I was wondering how you felt about scratches, specifically on the clasp. I just got my first few scratches on the clasp of my watch, and I'm torn between keeping them and buffing them out. What do you think? Should scratches be worn proudly like battle scars, or should they be polished out to keep the watch looking like new? Thanks, Mike." Mike, excellent question. I've got my own Hulk here in front of the camera, and let me pull it up in focus and show you the condition here. Talk about what I think you should do, what I plan on doing with my watch. This is my clasp. You guys can see it does carry some hairline wear marks, specifically in the center raised satin portion here of the long clasp. You can see a little bit of wear on the side. Let's kind of move the bracelet a little bit of wear on the bracelet, and I'll show you the biggest sign of use here is actually in the transition line between the top of the satin lug and the side of the polished case. You can see just a tiny little nick in that transition line, which honestly, I don't even know how that happened, but I don't baby this watch. This is not a safe queen. I don't think about value retention when I look at this piece. I just see a watch that I think is so gorgeous, that I've loved for years, and I wear this piece. I bought this on St. Patrick's Day of 2020, so it hasn't been a full year yet, but I've worn this pretty frequently. I've taken this hiking in the Uintas in the Wasatch Front. I've taken this camping. I've gone on family vacation down to Las Vegas with this watch. I wore this piece when I went to go, buy my grill, which is the VC Overseas that I'm wearing today. And as you can see here, I've got some signs of use, and that is totally natural if you wear and love your sport pieces as they were intended to be worn. So I think it's just a natural evolution of use. You can't run from it. You can't avoid it. It's inevitable. It will happen. So what should you do? Should you refinish it every time you see some hairline wear marks in the clasp? I'm going to tell you, no, I would not recommend doing that. Every time you refinish your watch, there's a small amount of that oyster steel that gets taken off. So it's not quite the same size, the same shape. It's technically not factory fresh anymore, even if you've had that refinishing done at a Rolex service center or an authorized dealer, authorized repair area. And if it is just because you want to keep the watch looking new, I would definitely not recommend doing that, because again, signs of use is totally normal. But at the same time, I get where you're coming from. You're so excited to get a lovely luxury watch. You've probably been looking forward to this purchase for months, if not years. You're really excited about it. You're wearing it. You're trying to baby it. But you know what? Inevitably, you put a scratch or a ding or a flea bite or some sign of use, of wear in the watch. And that kind of hurts. And I've been there. I've been there with Grand Seiko, with Omega, with Rolex and Breitling, and maybe even a little bit to a degree with this Overseas. I think the hairline wear marks are starting to appear here and there in the polished bezel, maybe a little bit near the clasp. But you know what? It's just inevitable. And so I would hold the course. Just, recognize it happens. And I would only recommend getting it refinished if there's something really serious that happened. Like, let's say you were, I don't recommend doing this, but let's say you were mountain biking, you took a tumble, you got some road rash, or maybe you were in your bathroom, it fell off the counter, hit the tile floor, and you got a big old dent somewhere. If there's something that would cause a stranger to look at your watch and go, what in the world happened to that watch? Only at that point would I recommend getting a refinish and any restorative work that needs to happen, like laser welding or whatnot. That stuff does happen too from time to time. So in that instance, I would recommend getting something done. But if it's just, some natural wear mark, here and there on the clasp, I would hold off, because you know what? If you get it refinished, it's going to look beautiful, yes. But 2 weeks later, you're going to put another wear mark in it. And you might get caught in this vicious cycle. And as you slowly wear down your clasp, the shape of it, how the logo looks. And I really just recommend, not doing that. Avoid that if you can. Now, does wear and tear affect value? It does to a degree, but that is pretty minute. Like if I were to go out and try to sell this watch tomorrow with how it is in its current condition, with the hairline wear marks, with that little tiny flea bite in the case that you can barely see, you know what? Someone would still pay me a really good price for this watch. If I was trying to trade it into a dealer, obviously dealers, they run a little bit differently. They need to make overhead and whatnot. That's how they make their money. So you wouldn't get top dollar. They'd probably say, oh, it's all beat up, I need to refinish it and blah, blah, blah. But they probably just take it from you and resell it as is. I don't even know if they would refinish in some instances. So no, it doesn't really affect value that much, especially with a very desirable watch like the green LV sub, the Hulk, the discontinued maxi case Submariner with the 20 millimeter lugs. Obviously, if there's something crazy in it where you just go, man, what in the world happened to that piece? At that point, you want to get the repair work done. But if it's not at that state, I would just hold steady. And that's a great question, Mike. Please don't feel silly for asking it. And I want to congratulate you on owning an awesome watch. It's one of my favorites. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It's so comfortable, so great to wear. And from a fellow Hulk owner, well done on your purchase. Now, let me share a couple watches as I close this video out, give you a sneak peek on what's going to be featured here on the channel in the next couple weeks. The first one is this Tag Heuer Aqua Racer, but this comes with the new tortoise print resin bezel insert. Kind of a mouthful there, but you guys can see it looks really fun, really interesting. I have yet to see any brand, whether it's a micro brand or a mainstream brand, use this type of finish. I mean, normally you see this on, Ray-Ban Wayfarers, right? Or some expensive, Italian sunglasses. You don't see it as a bezel insert material. And you would think, looking at this, that you're seeing an alligator strap, which is a faux pas when it comes to a dive watch, but this is actually printed vulcanized rubber. So it looks like alligator, but it's entirely done in rubber. So it's waterproof. Really interesting. We're going to be doing a full review on that one pretty soon. And then I've got a fun affordable here as well. This is the G-Shock 5600, but in the baby blue semi-transparent resin case, bezel, and bracelet, or strap, paired with neon green with a little bit of the gold reflective accent color in the center portion. Positive display. We do have a light up feature that probably won't show up here in the LED studio that I'm in, lit studio. But this is a pretty fun piece. I like to say that the Square is an unbeatable beater watch, and this one is pretty affordable. It's not the most affordable. That would be your basic black version, but this one certainly is fun. And I think if you're a Seahawks fan, you would like this color scheme. I, of course, am a 49ers fan, so no, I will never wear that watch on a Sunday, but it certainly is a fun watch, and we will also be doing a full review on that one. So Mike, thank you again for your question. Hopefully I helped you out here with my answer and you can understand where I'm coming from. And hope you guys look forward to seeing this Tag Heuer and this G-Shock in their own separate review videos. Hope you guys have a great evening. Reach out with any questions or comments you may have, and I'll see you next time.